Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world watching this video. I salute you. My name is Melody A. Smith, and I am the CEO of Dream Squad Financial Solutions, where basically our motto is we fix your finances so that you can achieve your dreams. And today, I want to shout out to you a little bit of knowledge about why you really shouldn't pay off your collection accounts. We're basically going to review 3 reasons. Let me tell you a little bit about Dream Squad and what we do just real quick. We're a licensed, registered, bonded financial consulting firm, and we specialize in boosting consumer credit scores. Some people call it consumer credit repair, whatever you want to call it. We also help businesses establish business credit that's not attached to your social security number, but to your EIN, to where your business can stand on its own when it comes to credit. And we also build websites, all right? Affordable, responsive websites. Responsive meaning you can view it on a tablet and a cell phone just as well as you can on a desktop. It won't look all cray-cray and cuckoo on your cell phone, all right? We're moving on. Y'all know me. For the people that know me personally, this is just my personality. So Melody is going to be Melody. But we're glad that you're here, and we hope that you enjoy your time on this show. All right, basically, we're going to talk a little bit about the collection accounts, like I said. And I say so often in a lot of my live shows, or if I'm doing a live webinar, if I'm face-to-face or one-on-one, or if I have a room full of people, collectors, not all of y'all now, so don't get all offended and send me these emails and text messages. Some of my friends that are in the collection business, but some of y'all are of the devil, for real. You're unscrupulous. With these scrupulous practices and different things that you do. Some of you are not following the law to the letter. It is just a mess, and you're driving people crazy. You're literally destroying lives, destroying homes, and getting folks fired off some of their jobs and getting in trouble because you're calling the jobs and blowing up people's jobs, asking for them when they're trying to make a living so that they can pay you back. Okay? All right, but I'm getting ready to expose you and put the truth out on you. So basically, credit card people, folks that you owe, and I don't want to just say credit card folks, but if you default on a credit card or any type of loan, your monthly internet, any type of utility payments, you run the risk of your account being sent to a collection agency. Just absolutely terrible, okay? These third-party companies are hired to pursue a firm's unpaid debt. So the firm is whoever you owe. Now, you're still liable for your bill even after it's sent to a collection agency. I don't know why people think once it's sent there, it's over with. Some people just will never pay it and they think it's going to go away. But it's not going to go away, okay? Unless you call us, but that's a whole nother story. Debt collectors report accounts to the credit bureaus, okay? That's a move that can impact your credit score for several months, if not years. Your credit score, listen to me, people, will drop, and may have already done so if the unpaid amount is for a credit card or some type of loan. So we're going to talk about these things, how they can severely, not only the credit collection itself can severely damage your credit, but the fact of paying it off will severely damage your credit scores. All right. So subsequently, you have late payments and charge off. And all that stuff usually precedes the collection account. But again, by this time, your credit score will be severely damaged by the time the collection even happens. Y'all ready? All right, get a neighbor, get a friend, call somebody and tell them we getting ready to get started. All right, here we go. Many consumers believe, and let me say this too before we get started. This will probably be in a 2 or 3 part series. All right, no more interruptions. Let's go. Many consumers believe that paying off collections is the best way to improve credit. In reality, paying off collections will almost always hurt your scores. Today, we're going to focus on exactly what happens to your credit when a collection is paid off. And at the end of this webinar, honey, you're going to know the facts and the insider secrets the collection companies don't want you to know. So again, I probably will get a couple of threatening messages and emails, but that's okay. It's going to be all right. All right. Reason number 1. Paying off a collection updates your SOL. SOL stands for Statute of Limitations. Statute of Limitations. Of each state has its own law. So every account you owe money on has a statute of limitations. The SOL determines how long by the law, a creditor can collect on that debt. So we're in the year of 2019, and I'm in the state of Ohio. I'm also a lot in Florida because I used to live in Florida, and I love Florida, and I miss Florida, and I'm always in Florida. But anyways, without the emotion in it, trust me, if I have a debt from 1990, it's going to be way out of the statute of limitations. I've never heard of anybody being able to collect on something like that many years. But the statute of limitations is determined by the law in your state, how long a creditor can collect on that particular date. On that particular debt. Now, like I said just a few seconds ago, the SOL varies based on the state you live in, or listen to what I'm saying, the state that you acquired the debt. So you can live in Florida, but maybe you acquired the debt in Ohio. Each state has different time frames. I already said that collectors can attempt by law to collect on that debt. So your SOL will vary based on the account type. That's another thing to look at. Your SOL, statute of limitations, will also be based a little different. It's going to vary based on the account type. You got mortgages, judgments, tax liens. They're just a few accounts which have longer times where the debt can be collected on. Credit cards and other installment loans usually have shorter times that collectors could collect on. Alrighty, you see the man just hanging upside down. The IRS has him by his ankles, his legs, and his knees, and they trying to drain him and shake him of all his money. Honey, that shouldn't even be named the IRS. That should be called the debt collectors. All right, moving on. Many states have a statute of limitations for 4 years on credit card and contractual debt. This means the collector can only collect for 4 years beyond the date of last activity. And in the industry, we call it the DOLA, date of last activity, DOLA. Mortgages in many states have a SOL of 7 years where the bank can pursue you to collect on that date. Now, when a payment is made on a collection account, the DOLA, or the date of last activity, is updated to the date the payment was made. All right? Now, let's break down this examples, and that's why I typed it out like this. For example, let's say you had a Chase credit card that went into collections 3 years ago. If the statute of limitations was 4 years, that would mean that you can be pursued for 1 more year on that account. But, get a drum roll out, somebody. But when you make a payment, you update the date of last activity, the DOLA, on that account, extending the statute of limitations. All right. If you make a partial, listen to me now, because that's why they're so slick. You may owe $1,500 and you wonder why they're willing to take $5 from you today, because they want to update that DOLA, date of last activity. Because if you only had a year to pay it off, you might as well have not paid it at all. Or because once you paid a little $5 on it, you start the clock again. Again, if you make a partial full payment to that collection company today, you reset the SOL today when you make that payment. They would only been able to pursue you for 1 more year if you didn't make the payment. See the man running from the clock. He's running for his life because his tire's flying in the air. He's trying to outrun the clock. The clock can't catch him. He's yet running. But by now, that payment was just made, and you reset the statute of limitations in whatever state you're in, and now the collector has 4 more years to collect, starting from the day you made the payment. You have started the clock all over again. Sad, sad, sad. When you pay off, now check this out. When you pay off a collection, you extend the statute of limitations on how long that collector is able to collect. And that's one great reason why you don't want to pay off a collection. All righty? Look at him, just swarmed. All those bills just got him in look like, what is that show that used to come on with the Twilight Zone? Just pitiful. All right, so we got number 1. You don't want to do that because you reset that clock. All right, reset that DOLA, because every state has a statute of limitations. Reason number 2, paying off a collection does not change the account status. I'll say it again. Paying off a collection does not change the account status. And if you're not used to reading credit reports, or if you don't have easily access to a mortgage credit report, because theirs look a little bit different. If you have an account in good standing, it reports as a number 1 in the status. And I'm sorry, I don't have an example to show that. It reports as a number 1 in the status. So for example, A paid as agreed mortgage reports as an M1 status, mortgage 1 status, and paid as agreed revolving account reports as an R1 status. I apologize, my screen is a little bit cut off, but we're going to keep on moving. Okay, did you catch that part? Now, when a late payment occurs, that one status changes based on how late the account is being paid. So the first late payment changes the status to number 2, because number 1 was like pristine, green light, let's go. But the first late payment changes the status to number 2. And as the account becomes further behind, the numbers increase until the account ends up in the collection as a 9. Okay? All collections, listen to me, people out in cyberspace, YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook, Instagram portions of this video, all collections report as a 9, number 9 status, and severely damage your credit scores. Your credit scores are a mathematical model designed to depict your risk of going 90 days late on an account in the future. Look at that. Isn't that lovely to hold up a banner that says, my credit score is 720. And if you're like my father, your credit score is 849, 850, green light all the time. All right. But don't get discouraged, because you can get there. When you have collections and 9 status accounts, your risk is high and your scores are lower as a result. And when you pay off a collection, the account still remains as a number 9 status. So even if you pay it off, it's a 0 balance, you're still in the collection status of a 9. And remember, I said 1 being pristine, 9 is the worst. It's still looked at as a defaulted account. And you're still just as high risk for defaulting for the account in the future. That's what the lenders are looking at. These are the numbers that the underwriters are looking at. So the truth is, your scores will not go up when the collection is paid, because the collection 9 status still remains and is still looked at as a defaulted account. Paying off a collection will not, capital N, capital O, capital T, raise your credit scores for this particular reason. Okay, number 3, last one. We may not have to go into another video. Let's see if we can get it all in this one. Paying off a collection will update your date reported. Every time, every account on your credit report has a particular time it can be reported for. And the times these accounts can report for varies based on account types. Most negative accounts remain on your report for 7 years. We're talking tax liens, bankruptcies, and other government accounts can remain on the credit report for about 10 years. Okay. So most negative accounts can remain on 7 years, but the tax lien, the bankruptcies, other government and things like that can remain on your account for 10 years. And the IRS type debts can remain on the report indefinitely, because the IRS too is of the devil. Moving on, my personal opinion. The time starts from the date you went late, not your date of last payment, like the statute of limitations. So don't get it misconstrued or mixed up or even twisted. I'm going to say it again. The time starts from the date you went late, not your date of last payment, like the statute of limitations. Many creditors will update this date when a collection is paid off, even though they are not supposed to by the law. I know a company that does this all the time, and I want to say their name, but I'm not going to say it. But their initials are CC. Moving on. They're notorious for doing this. All righty? Moving forward. But if you are in a repayment plan for a debt and miss a payment, they can legally update this date on your reports. All righty? And for example, let me give you a quick example. If you have a Capital One credit card, which you started going late on 4 years ago, the account is due to drop off in 7 years. So since it's 4 years old, already it's going to drop off in 3 more years. But in most cases, when you make a payment on this debt, the collector updates this date to the date you make the payment. Does that make sense? That means the account will now report on your credit much longer than it should. It was due to drop off in 3 years based on the prior example, but now that clock has reset and remained for another 7 years. Oh my God.